Okay, so a quick Corel Draw tutorial. This is what we'll be using to design shapes for the laser cutter. So we're going to open up Corel Draw, the green icon. And when it loads here, we'll just click on this plus button here to start a new document. All the defaults should be okay with 29, height 17. Hopefully they're defaulted to that. But we should just be able to click OK, and it's going to give us this workspace that's 29 inches wide and 17 inches tall. That's the size of the laser cutter bed. So everything that we design is going to go ideally on this sheet. And that's plenty of space to work with. So let's say we want to design a semicircle. I'll let you try to figure out the other ones if you want to, but this is a pretty basic one. And a pretty common one. So we're going to come over to the ellipse tool. This is our toolbar. You can look for all different kinds of shapes on here, but we're going to go for the ellipse and then come over, click and drag, and you can tell there's an ellipse. It's not a perfect circle. You might be okay with that. If you want it to be a perfect circle, though, I'll show you how to fix that right here. So we want to make sure we have our object highlighted. So if it's not selected, we can come up here to the pick tool and then click and drag. Oops, I actually grabbed our object. I'm trying to click and drag around it, or just click on it, and it'll highlight it. Then it tells us the dimensions up here, the horizontal and vertical widths. So right now it's got me in this locked ratio. So I'm going to undo that. Otherwise, it's going to keep this and just scale it up or down. But if I want to change it to a different shape, like say a circle, I'm going to make it a circle with a 4-inch diameter, just arbitrary number here. So 4 inches in both dimensions. Click enter, and there it is, a 4-inch circle. I'm going to bring it. My origin is up here in the upper left. I'm going to ideally have things clustered up in the upper left of the document. The wood that we're cutting out of is 12 inches by like 20 inches. So ideally, if we keep everything within sort of that boundary, that's best. But we can work with it. So there's a circle. It's not a semicircle. I can change that by coming over to my rectangle tool. And then I'm just going to try to aim for the center as close as possible and click and drag through. Now there's a way to get this exact, by the way, but I'm assuming that probably close enough or pretty good is good enough in this case. If not, you guys can figure out how to make it exact, I'm sure. Now that doesn't look anything like a semicircle yet. Come up to the crop tool, click on the black little corner, and we're going to go to virtual segment delete. This is like a knife now. Anything that I drag this through is going to get deleted. So I deleted that whole segment, and now I want to delete the bottom of the circle there. Perfect. I have a semicircle, right? And if I want to select it again, now I can't just click on it, because if I click and drag, it's only going to grab that part. So I'm going to undo that, Control Z. If I want to grab the whole thing, there we go. Okay, so it says it's 4 inches by 2.055. So I was close, not perfect in my location of the center of the circle here, but we'll call it good enough. Now, if I want to scale this thing up perfectly, instead of manually having to figure out these dimensions each time, I can lock the ratio here. And now, if I change the dimensions to, I don't know, 8, and click enter, it automatically scales the height too, which is nice. Nice for you. You don't have to do that. You can manually enter that in if you want to. But let me go back. So I'm going to say that my first object should be a 4-inch base, and then maybe my next one is a 5-inch. I'm just using easy numbers. So I'm going to copy and paste this. Control C, Control V. It pasted it right on top of the old one. So without clicking anywhere out over here, I want to just click on this and drag it.
I don't want to stack things on top. The laser is not smart enough to know that it should only cut that out once. If they're stacked right on top of each other, if they're two objects that are right on top of each other, it'll go over that twice, which is not what I want. So make sure that you don't double stack. So now, again, my second semicircle is a 5-inch base. Enter. So there's my next one. I'm going to do another copy paste. I can do this pretty quick at this point. Let's say this one is I don't know, 6.34, whatever. And I can just keep going. And I'm clustering everything again up in the upper left, ideally. And you can do as many of those as you want. And the laser cutter is going to cut them out pretty darn quick. So just put everything kind of close together in the upper left, and we're good to go. We can save the file. Just when you save the file, make sure it's a CDR, a .cdr file, and ideally you're going to put your name, or everybody in your group, put your names in the file name. First name is fine, and you can save it. Then you can email that to me, and I'll cut it out. We're good to go. Let's see, anything else? Just make sure, ideally, don't change the colors of these. Keep it red. That tells the laser cutter that those are cuts instead of something else like engraving. Make sure everything's on the page, not sticking off of the page. And again, these are the building blocks that you'll use over here to create your shape. Once you have your base shape, it's just a matter of scaling it up and down. So good luck, and I'll look forward to seeing some emails from you guys.